From the hollers and hills of West Virginia, it's Heavenly Hills Homestead with another episode. Stay tuned. Boom!
Right, guys, welcome. What we have here is a well bucket. You're thinking, that ain't no bucket. Well, we're going to show you. I made this. It's out of a 4-inch sewer pipe, and on the end here, as you can see, we have busted it open. Now, this was thin wall sewer pipe, 4-inch thin wall, and we'll get into all this in a minute. But what was happening is my well is about 75 foot deep. So I was dropping this in there by hand so far, and then I would just let go of the rope and stop it with my foot. And I guess it smacked the bottom a bit too hard on that thin wall and busted it open. So we're going to redo it. Now, I have an option here. I can just go ahead and drill this back out with my center cap, put the holes all back around it, and put my flat back in it and let it work. Or I can go this route. Glue this 4-inch cap thin wall into this 4-inch thick wall round nose, and hopefully get a little bit more support and strength, durability, and then just glue it on the end of the pipe. So we're going to try this one out first and give it a shot, but first we've got to cut off this end right here. So let me get to it, and then we'll go on from there. All right, so now we've cut the end off, and we've cleaned it up. We got our broken piece off there. We got our flap out. The flap is just a piece of good rubber, you know, about probably about a 1/16 thick, I would say. You're gonna want to drill your hole in the center. You're going to want to find the center of this and get your hole drilled in with just a little bit larger of the bolt than what you're using. This bit is 25/64, and this is a 5/16 carriage bolt, 2 washers, 1 nut. Okay, that 5/16 carriage bolt is 2 inches long. You're going to need these fender washers, 2 of them, and then just a nut. Alright, so the next step is going to be gluing this inside of there. Okay, well, there ain't no holes drilled in there. Well, I'm going to show you what to do with that. Once we get this glued in there, we have our center. Okay, now that once it gets in there is going to be centered up in the center of this We'll drill through with the same size bit, and then we'll lay out our holes and drill through on the inside all the way through both pieces for our water outlets. And then we'll assemble it with our flapper and our bolts and washers. Okay, but you will need to get some of this. That's for gluing this inside of it and then gluing it onto the end of your well bucket. So let me get that done, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get to the next step. So now the glue has dried. So what I've done is, as you can see, I've drilled the center hole out. I've went all the way through. Now you're just going to have to drill your water holes, okay? And if you were to split this down the middle and across it again, drawing across here, okay? You're going to want one dead center there and here, and one there and there. And then you can put one in each quadrant, okay? So that's a total of 8 holes. Now, you can vaguely see this one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 holes in it. These were big. These were bigger holes. This time I'm going to go with a smaller bit, okay? And I'm going to use a 25/64 bit. Let me see. This one was can't read it. Anyways, this one was the size for the 5/16, not that 25/64. So anyhow, we're going to use this one. We're going to go through it and make 8 holes smaller. As you can see, it's much smaller than that diameter. So we're going to use this one and make 8 holes. And we'll see you when we're done. Okay, now that you got that part done, all the holes are drilled. I ended up putting just 6. But once you get that done, start assembling. Put your nut through there, which is, this one is a 2-inch. Just using the old one off of the one, I probably should have bought a 2.5. Put your washer, put your flap, put your other washer, and then your nut. Then get you some water, a bucket of water, and go try it out. You don't want it too tight, because if you're too tight, as you can see, it won't move. So you want it just tight enough that it can move up and down. See how that is now down? It needs to move a little bit. Now the water pressure when you pull up is going to suck that gasket down and keep it down against it, so you lose very little water. So let's find some water and I'll try it out, and then I'll glue it up to the end of my pipe and we'll be ready to try it. Okay, so now we're going to go test it out. We're set up, ready to go. As you can see, it's glued on. This extreme temperature, it should be good to go. It'll have a couple more minutes as I go over a few things with you on what you need to do about this and this type of a well instead of a normal bucket. So we're going to go over that real quick. So that is my well, okay? Now, what I done to figure out the depth of this well is I took a 100-foot rope. I bought 100 foot, okay? That way I knew it was 100 foot from the store. I tied a rock onto it. I lowered it down, okay? And I lowered it all the way till I touched the bottom of the well. Then what I done is I took a permanent ink marker. I pulled the slack out of the rope, and until I could feel the weight of the rock, and then I marked the top of the rope to the top of the well, and with a magic or a permanent ink marker, I raised it up out of the well. I stretched it out, and I measured the rope, okay, and I got 75 foot to the bottom of the well. Then I measured what was wet from the rope, and that was 25 foot. So I have 25 foot of water in that well. So it's probably a safe bet to say that the casing is 50 foot deep, and then somewhere around there it struck water, and the water vein is 25 foot. So the reason why that this bucket is cylindrical is because there's no way to get a bucket down that hole, an actual bucket. A lot of them are 6 inches. I believe that one right there is like 8 or 9. I can't remember. I did measure it, but I can't remember. But as you can see, this is a 4-inch pipe that will lower down in here, and you will see how much clearance is there on a 4-inch thick wall. Okay, that's the thick wall that's there on the tip. Now look how much there is there. Okay, so not only will that thick wall help it ride down straighter and pull up better, but it'll also give it that strength at the bottom. So let's lower it down. And all I did right there at the top to tie my rope to it, I put a long carriage bolt through there and tied my rope to it. That's all I done. Now, if you're not careful, it will burn your hand. And when I go to raise this up, I will have to put the phone down, and just so you can see how much rope is going through my hands. And there, I just hit water. Look how much rope is left. Not a lot. I'm going to lower it down there just a bit, let my bucket fill up, and pull it up and show you what kind of water we're getting out of here. It's pretty water. And it's filling up pretty quick. I feel it. Make sure no bees or nothing to build a nest in here. Oh yeah, I believe we're full. Oh yeah, definitely full. Here we go. It's almost to the top. There we are. Oh yeah, she's holding good too. Yep, it did just as good. Alright. Here. Y'all see me? I want y'all to see this water as it gets poured into this bucket here. I want you to look how clean this water is. Can y'all see how clean that is? Clean water. Nothing wrong with that at all. So, if you find one of these on your property, you have a well. Get you some rope, check the depth and everything, and then make you a well bucket that'll fit down it, and you can use your water. Now, eventually I will put a pump in this, a deep well pump, and I will use it for things in the house. At that depth, at 25 foot, or I mean, at 75 foot, the water's going to be well filtered out and everything. So I will get the water tested, but you can use this for, just say you took and used it for your bath water. I mean, not your bath water, but your toilet water and your laundry. You know how much money you would save a year just using this water right here for your laundry and your toilet? Not to mention if you want to drink it or use it for your, I mean, you could pretty much go off of the household water that you're paying for every month. That's hundreds of dollars. So I hope it helped somebody, and we're going to be filling these buckets up and putting it on the garden.
Don't forget to smash that like button, that notification bell.
Good job. Here you go. Thank you. Don't forget to share. Yep. There you go. Good job. And subscribe.